In Photoshop, when we're working with either the pen or the shape tool and we want to put a hole in one of those objects, then there's a certain setting that you need to change your pen tool to. Right now, I have created a outline of the word green using my pen tool set to shape, and that has created a layer for each one of these letters. So what I want to do is finish off this first letter E, and if I zoom in a little bit closer so I can see what I'm doing and click to begin to finish this letter over in my layers panel, I have actually created a whole new shape layer, and that's not what I want for a couple of reasons. If I try and fill in my letter E layer by setting the fill, I'm not going to have that hole anymore. It's completely gone, and that's because it wasn't ever there really to begin with on this layer. In this layer, that line doesn't exist because it's a shape on its own layer. So I'm going to set my fill back to 0 and get rid of my little accidental shape layer, and then make sure that I'm on my E1. Now for this next bit, I'm going to turn my stroke off, and that will hide the green line, but this is still the same thing. I haven't done anything really funky. What I want to do now is set my pen tool from new layer to exclude overlapping shapes, and this drop down is next to the height box. By setting it to exclude overlapping shapes, when you create a secondary pen line within another shape, instead of creating a new layer in your layer box, it will simply exclude the shape that you just made from the one around it. Now for that to make real sense, we need to take this layer and turn on our fill, because that's kind of the test to see if it worked. And you can see there it worked. Now at some point while I was doing that, it automatically changed back to the new layer setting. So just know that this is the setting that Photoshop likes to be on, and it will try and change it back there when it thinks you need it there. So just be aware it won't always stay on the exclude layer if you're trying to do that. So let's do that one more time. Here I have the second E, and to make sure I'm not creating a new layer, I use the exclude overlapping shape setting. This time I'll leave my stroke on so that you can see what happens in that case. So I begin my line, look in my layers box, and I'm doing it right. There's no new layer. But this time, when I make a couple of these dots, you'll notice I have a green line going from this one to the next, but I don't actually have any path here in the middle. That's just this shape trying to keep all of its edges closed. So watch out for areas like that. That's why I had turned this one to 0 stroke so it wasn't confusing to look at. All I have to do is come and complete my shape there by clicking on the first point that I put down and tweaking any that I need to, and there again is my shape. And let's test it by setting the fill. I'll even come back here and set stroke to 0 so it looks like the other one. So there are our two letters and how you would take another shape and put it in the middle to make a hole.